warring sides in the brutal two-year conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray have agreed to end fighting. The joint statement said that the two sides have signed a peace agreement following intensive negotiations. The two sides declare that they have set the goal of permanently ending the fighting. The truce is backed by a program of disarmament and integration of rebels. The breakthrough was announced by the African Union's mediator and former Nigerian president.
The two parties in the Ethiopian conflict have formally agreed to the cessation of hostilities, as well as to systematic, orderly, smooth, and coordinated disarmament, restoration of law and order, restoration of services, unhindered access to humanitarian supplies, protection of civilians, especially women, children, and other vulnerable groups, among other areas of agreement.
World leaders have welcomed the move. The enormous challenges lie ahead, including getting all parties to lay down arms or withdraw. The Tigrayan rebels hailed the deal and said that they had made concessions.
We must be true to the letter and the spirit of this agreement. The people of Ethiopia expected more than the text of this agreement. They demand peace and harmony. They desire development. They have charted a promising and bright future.
Our people have been killed not only through bullets, but also for lack of food and medicine. Our children do not go to schools. Our hospitals are not functional because of the war.
The war in Africa's second most populous country marks 2 years on Friday. The region has seen abuses documented on both sides. The conflict erupted on November 4th in 2020 when Addis Ababa sent troops into Tigray after accusing the TPLF, the regional ruling party, of attacking federal army camps. According to US estimates, as many as 500,000 people have died in the war. The conflict also triggered a humanitarian crisis, forcing well over 2 million people from their homes. The United States is expressing cautious optimism about the peace deal.
First and importantly, the African Union's announcement of the signing of a cessation of hostilities between the government of Ethiopia and the Tigrayan People's Liberation Front represents an important step towards peace. We applaud the parties for their commitment to peace and reaching this agreement.
Eritrea, which has fought alongside neighboring Ethiopia, has notably not been part of the peace talks. Eritrean forces have been blamed for some of the conflict's worst abuses, including gang rapes, and witnesses have described the killings and lootings by the forces even during the peace talks. And for more details, our correspondent Calden Ongmu has sent us this report from Johannesburg. Take a look.
After 10 days of intensive negotiations, the Ethiopian government and Tigray People's Liberation Front have announced they have reached a peace agreement. In a joint statement, the parties said they have agreed to permanently silence the guns and end the 2 years of conflict in northern Ethiopia. The conflict has brought a tragic degree of loss of lives and livelihoods. The two parties have agreed to stop all forms of conflicts and hostile propaganda. The government of Ethiopia said they will continue the efforts to restore public services and rebuild the infrastructure of all communities affected by the conflict. This is Calden Ongmu from Johannesburg, South Africa, for WION World is One.